Right. The adult beverages are poured, both coffee, given today, I think.
Yes.
The kids are asleep, and this is New Dad Gaming, a show about gaming, fatherhood, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 9-month-old.
My name is Jeff. I have a 5-year-old and almost 3-year-old.
I'm generally hoping for the people at home that most of them are listening to this as opposed to seeing it, because this. So my lack of shaving, like this state, is is the
You don't
Fisher,
shave for this? Come on.
because like this is like the Fisher cut. Like I can't grow beards. Like I've tried, and I get to this point, and it's like, okay, if I push this for another 3 weeks, three
Yeah.
weeks of hobo, I can then take stock and see if it's good.
Yep.
And I've done it, and it's never good. I can't grow
No.
a beard, but I come to this point, and it's just yeah, like
I think that's another stream because I can't grow a beard. It comes in all patchy and there's like chunks of hair that grow faster than other chunks. So maybe we have another show on our hands.
Welcome to New Dad Beards, a show about beards, dads, and
Growing our
grow.
beards over
Well,
time.
I didn't grow this week. Beard update. No beard.
Somebody made fun of me today. He had a beard.
Oh man, man, the dudes I work with, like their beards are beautiful. Like these big,
Luxurious.
illustrious,
Yeah.
manly. And actually they I had those friends come and visit, and my son was so fascinated in the guy's beard, and I'm just like, is
This
he?
is what this looks like.
Am I now not measuring up? Is he looking at like what a real man looks like?
9 months, he's already like tossed you. He's like, no, wait, alpha.
He look like this man looks like he could build a hut for us to live in. I don't know. I don't know the chump I've been hanging out with. Forget him. So yeah. So Jeff, how has your week been in gaming and fatherhood?
Week in gaming, it's been pretty good. I'm still on Witcher, but I got a couple new games that I've just downloaded. I got them a long time ago, but I finally had space on my PS4 to get to. Divinity Original Sin, popped into that one. That one's intense. So if you don't know about that one, that's like I think it's called a CRPG, and it's just it's got a
Is
lot of
it
writing, a lot of story.
is it Diablo
But
style as far as
yeah, but turn-based. So you're
okay?
not clicking. But you can use elements. So like if you cast like an oil spell, and then somebody else can light it on fire, and then you can freeze it, and they slip, and all sorts of stuff. So it's kind of cool that way. But man, it does not hold your hand like at all. Like you're supposed to read everything, and this is what I kind of like because it's kind of like that nostalgia feeling because the older games didn't do that for you, right? And you didn't have Google back in our day. We didn't have Google, so
Old man rant
um,
coming great.
for this one, it was really interesting just to kind of get a feel for it. I've only played like a couple hours just to get into the story, but I wandered into the wrong area and just got slaughtered. Like it does not warn you at all. It's just like, nope, can't go here. Try
So I mean,
again.
like, but as a dad though, like with your limited time, like, are you not finding yourself daunted in the thought about like what the later levels are, what it's going to take to beat that game, like your ability that you will need to be able to beat that game, like given the hours?
Yes, like, and I felt that with like Witcher 3, right? But I kind of found it as like I can try and do two long novels kind of in succession. I need to capture my attention elsewhere so I don't get too bored with one, but then come back to it. So it does like break up the game a little bit. I think we've talked before about how we could game as kids like for 8 hours in our bedrooms if we wanted to. We can't do that anymore. But I find myself getting used to it. I think it's just a matter of just changing your mindset a bit. Like you can't really sink your teeth into something
Yeah, a
and
bit
play it
more.
for a whole weekend. Like it's not going to happen.
It's actually, I think a bit. I misspoke a bit. I meant more just the actual like the difficulty of it. Like, do you
Oh,
given your short gaming time and how precious that is? Like, do you not find it daunting to sink into something so difficult?
I autosave and save all the time. So I always have a backup of when I screwed up. The only thing that really uh, kind of turns me off is that I've seen a lot of character guides out there, And basically, because this game doesn't hold your hand, if you don't build your character and traits, you could really screw yourself, and you won't find out until 60, 70 hours in the game, and then it's more tough or more stronger than it needs to be, or whatever. But
That's terrible, man.
yeah, like I don't think it's game breaking, but the game could be made a lot easier. Maybe that's when you lower the difficulty or something. That's why I like another point. If you can lower the difficulty in the game, like on whim, I think that does help. It sucks to do it, and it sucks when the game kind of tells you to do it. like, hey, how about try this level? Like, this is where you're at. But I like those because if you have a short gaming session and you kind of want to, just enjoy the story a bit, you can tweak that like in game and then go back up in difficulty to try and get a good feel for it. But yeah, there's a worry there. I just I'll try my best, and if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna leave it on the shelf and run. Like, go back to Rocket League or something. Ball go in net. Ball good.
We'll have to follow up week by week and see if you stick with it.
Yeah.
It's funny. That was a bit of a I don't want to call it controversy, but the new Star Fox was announced. I think late last week, and they had a can't die mode. Like
really?
They have this switch where you can just fly around and shoot things, but you'll always just win. Eventually, like, you can't die. So it's meant as like a hand holding, like a very easy, like super easy mode, like just in infinity mode. And people were up in arms about it. Like, they were really upset. Like, oh, like only what is it, this baby mode and this baby games and like why would you dare do this? And it was curious to read the counter pieces to that thought, in that, I'm even thinking about your young kids, where like they could probably steer the ship and it'd be a lot of fun to shoot things and just they'll never die. Like, it kind of just progresses. Or for somebody who can't pass a level, or for various levels of fidelity, any number of reasons why it might be a great thing. And more to the point, it doesn't affect you as Mr. Hardcore. So
you have a choice, right? Like, you have a choice to turn that on. It's kind of like the cheat systems in the iOS games. Like, you have a choice. It's always there, kind of hanging over your head, but you have the choice to turn that stuff on or off. And I think it does make the game more accessible, especially if, say like, there's many mental disabilities and people with, certain other accessible issues where maybe they do need, that invincible mode for, decrease in frustration or something, but they still want to experience the game. So I think, some of that's coming into play. But I will ask you, you've seen the new Star Fox, right? What do you think of the graphics?
It's like,
I don't like the graphics.
it's just like it really seems less. I could care less for graphics, like super fidelity, like everything has to be absolutely amazing.
No, but it
looks really, it looks really janky. Like, it looks like a Wii title. Like, it's really.
I did not like it.
I was surprised. Like, there's so much cool stuff you could do with keeping it. Cartoony is the wrong word, but I hope you'll understand what I mean by that. Like, you'd almost go cartoony, the stylized version of it, but really nice and crisp. But yeah, that is bizarrely low fidelity. I'm not sure what.
And I think kind of like the Lego games. Like, they're very cartoony looking, but they've got they're very clean. Like, they've got a sheen to them. They kind of feel like what they're supposed to be.
Like the set pieces on the atmosphere, like there's depth. Like,
yeah. When Star Fox came out, it was like, the super cutting edge technology with the FX chip and all this like 3D technology on your Super Nintendo, right? So I almost thought that they would almost break that with like a virtual reality or some other, maybe they don't go that way, but clean up what they have. It just kind of seems like they rehashed it almost. And
yeah, it is bizarre. Like, we'll see how perhaps like it actually looks great and the footage is just not doing it justice. But it is bizarrely low fidelity. I'm not sure what's about that, but ideally maybe it gets cleaned up, or it's fun enough that it doesn't matter. And just a quick capper on that point is just like the conversation is the other thing that I think about is, imagine like your son just starts to play, and he's able to control the ship and is able to go. If you put it on that mode, like and if you're interested in the story or just seeing where it goes, like you can totally just play with him, 2-player, and like you can have that experience together, and it's not going to be this balance of like my kid keeps dying, we can't like progress. Like You know what I mean? Like you both can come along with the experience. Like how wonderful is that? Like
Yeah.
how great it is, and it doesn't affect anybody else. So in some ways, as much as it's with the learning difficulties that you mentioned, with the young kids that you mentioned, there's a whole world of interesting options with the zero
Yeah.
difficulty level.
I
But
didn't think of the lives thing because I did introduce my oldest into Battlefront, and we just played like a because he likes Star Wars, whatever. He didn't need to see anybody dying, but he kept dying from the other guys that would invade. So I'm like, dude, we got like 3 lives. We need to like beat all these waves of people. How are you doing this?
uh,
So
I'm sure if he went on public server, he would still manage to beat me. Like I just can't.
yeah.
I cannot seem to stay alive for more than like 20 steps. It is. Oh, that matchmaking. I rant about this. Probably it's been 3 weeks in a row. I'm terrible at this game, and I know I am. But man, like I gotta be able to walk for more than a minute. Like it's just these guys are so damn good.
Yeah.
Justin, oh, that's great. So yes, that was your gaming. How's the fatherhood side treating you?
Fatherhood, it's good. We're starting lessons back up, so swimming, and we got gymnastics for my youngest. But with my youngest and Easter weekend, great holiday weekend, 3-day weekend, we get to potty train. What a great time to do that,
Jeez.
right?
Oh, that's amazing, man. So this is your second time going through. Your first kid
Yeah,
is
first
potty
kid
trained.
we yeah, first kid we did it around Christmas. Like whenever we have time off, what the process is, right?
Vacation. Woo! Let's
Yeah,
get that
my
kid pooping
vacation
in a bowl. Let's make
is
this
shit.
happen.
Yeah, no, if okay, what we do is basically cold turkey, right? So there's many different processes out there. You know, do whatever works for your family and your kid. You'll know your kid better than I will. But what worked for our first was a cold turkey method where you basically rip off the diaper, say goodbye to the diaper. He says goodbye to the diaper. No more diapers. Put him in underwear, and every 20 minutes for basically 3 days, um, you ask them if they have to go, and then would you like to try? And that's your day for 3 days. Now that doesn't seem a lot, but if you, like, there's a lot of seconds in those minutes, and a lot of minutes in those hours, and it doesn't like you can't go anywhere. Like going anywhere is off limits. If you stay at home,
That's terrifying. Like, what are you
it's
thinking?
you are quarantined in your house. You are, trust me, getting rid
Man,
of that diaper
I wouldn't even
genie.
trust him in
Like,
the house. Like, you're quarantined in the bathtub. Like, I'm looking at the couch
well,
behind you, and I'm imagining
yes,
your kid just running
yeah.
around cold turkey.
We have a hazmat suit that just kind of, yeah. No, yeah, you lay down towels and you have lots of laundry to do, and you just let them ride it out. And so, my eldest one kind of giggled because they're not used to feeling underwear, and as if as a dude that would make you giggle, I guess. And you just they run
Tickle,
around feeling
tickle.
different things and trying to go to the bathroom. But
Wow, I can't believe that. Man, okay, and then after those 3 days, your first one was trained.
yes,
I'm sure,
to
like,
a point.
a couple accidents, I'm certain, but, like, generally, he
Yeah,
was trained after 3 days.
he was almost like 100% during the day. At night was a little bit of different story, which is fine. Like we don't say fully you have to be trained at night. That's I think different with each kid. But pull up nights, so he wore nighttime underwear that we called it still, and he did that for about a year and then grew out of it, and then now he's fine, right? So I think by 3, 4 he was perfectly like done. So during the day, during everywhere, after 3 days, he'll be good. I am afraid after
Just,
that, like the fourth day. So when you take him in the car or something, like that car seat's at risk. So
oh,
like,
jeez, I'm telling you, I'm just trying to imagine him running around the house and, like,
yep,
couches and
yep,
carpets and
yep,
the baby clothes. Like, fine, like, you got a ton of that stuff. Like you pick them up, and, like, there's just nothing. There's
yep,
nothing.
yep.
Man, you are. Did you at least, like, section off places of your house? Like that couch, like was he allowed to sit on that couch behind you? Like,
No,
are you gonna
no.
quarantine it? There's carpet. There's carpet on your floor that I can
There's carpet.
see.
There's carpet. Yes, we
Oh,
are not fortunate enough to have hardwood, or maybe fortunate enough. I don't know. Like, is hardwood worse or better than carpet? I don't know. But no,
Yes,
you
like
tell
for this man, pour soup on hardwood and pour some soup on carpet. You tell me. Like that is
I don't know.
like
I don't know. It's gross either way. But to prevent that, yes, you need lots of blankets and you need you're an eagle on this kid. Like you are asking him all the time, do you have to go? Do you want to try? And are you wet or dry or wet or dry?
yeah,
So it's
yeah. I mean,
just
it's certainly appealing in its brevity. Like 3 days in and out, and you
it's cold turkey, right? So it's like any kind of half you
yes,
just break them. You break them over a period
break that.
of days,
Oh God,
and then
man.
they're a new person on the
That
fourth.
is something to think about. Wow, like I
Yeah,
didn't even know that was a
yeah,
method. Yeah, because man, that the freedom though, like that, there's got to be some of the biggest milestones. Like I can remember, again, like when Adrian started sleeping through the night, like just the life changing occurrence that was. Like that was just, and to this day is still just so amazing.
yeah.
And the thought that all of a sudden now you're not gonna have to change him, like that he's gonna do his business like a normal human, is
Hoping.
just, that
Yeah.
kind of feels like the next. I suppose maybe the next one's like when I don't have to prepare bottles for him anymore. But
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, you're almost there, right? So.
it's just like you keep going through. I'm sure it's one of those things where like I'm gonna look back and I have this like checklist of things I don't want to do anymore. But then at the end it was just like be lonely, and you're like, oh, it's like,
Oh,
well, I
check.
missed it all. Cat's in the cradle with the silver spoon. I
In a
missed.
rocking chair, just
Yeah. I was like, well, he's gone, I guess.
that's it. No, it's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. It's when it happens, it's great. So it's a lot more like less to carry too. Like you're going everywhere. We'll still have a change of clothes like in the car and stuff, but you don't have to carry diapers, and we still carry wipes. We'll carry wipes, I think, until the kids are in college. 'Cause they're just messy eaters.
Even then,
They come in so handy
yeah, just
and
use
so
whatever.
cool at carrying wipes around. But yeah, a
Oh, I
lot
use
more
those baby
freedom.
wipes on everything, man. Like
They're great.
I drop some coffee on the ground, just like baby wipe,
Baby
baby
wipe,
wipe.
baby wipe.
Spill something on the
It does.
dog, just wipe them off with a baby wipe. Car
Windows clean.
seats.
Windows just.
Yeah, let me just get that spot real quick.
No, but it's good. So like that's gonna be my weekend. That's gonna be my Easter holiday, everybody. That is, you can just think about me while you're eating your fish and turkey or whatever you're gonna have this
Isn't
weekend. But
it? We were asking about. I think it's ham. Is it not
is it
ham?
ham? I don't know. I'm not
Whatever,
into
whatever it is, man. Well,
Whatever you
yeah,
want.
report back next week. Like you got two big reports coming in next week.
To.
Divinity Original Sin. Did you
Yes.
stick with it, or is it abandoned? And how did the cold turkey training go?
Oh yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll let you know. And if I, look any different or slightly more gray hairs on the side or something,
Just bald,
um,
just full on
like,
bald next time.
done. You won't even see me next week. I'll just be running around in circles. Just, huh? Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go? Like,
There's no, there's no couch behind you. The carpet's ripped up.
yeah,
Like
that's everything.
the walls just studs. Like you're.
Yeah, but that's yeah. No, that's me. How's about you?
Yeah. So going cold turkey this weekend. Yeah, no, no, things have been great. So gaming is funny. I've been finding a lot of trepidation about games that I'm going to get into, just because like with the limited hours. Like it's funny because when Adrian is barely sleeping at all, my son, it was especially bad because like man, I might only have 20 minutes. I want to enjoy this. Like now, he sleeps through the night, so I have this like between like when I'm not working, like I have this like chunk of time that I know I can play. But even then, just recently, I have this real burning sense of like what game do I want to play. Like I've actually gotten out of Elite Dangerous, the space sim, for a while. Just got to a good place. I'm like, that one's done for a bit. I had a inkling to get back into the BioShock games because I played some. I'd never really beat any of them, and they just sound so amazing. And I just couldn't. I had this. I didn't. It feels like I need like a somehow like everyone needs to disappear for 4 hours so I can like get into it properly, and then I can start to pick away at it. But I can't seem to find a start point. Hearthstone, I got no interest in. Like right
Oh,
now.
what? It's a
Yeah,
milestone. This is a milestone for you.
that's been for a couple weeks. It's just I went on this streak where it's you compose this particular deck which somebody just kind of prescribed and like, oh, this deck works, and you're playing and you just keep getting beat by these guys. It's a little bit like Battlefront, but in a sense where you just, and it's not so much, again, it's not about the winning. It's just like I'm playing this deck that somebody else put together for me. Right at the moment, it doesn't feel like a lot of fun or very advantageous to just experiment. Like, here's how
Right.
I would like to compose something. Let me give this thing a try. It just doesn't work because everybody else is using these guaranteed wins. You put this, you take this, and you take this, and you will win like 70% of the time. And that's what you're going against. So certainly you could try to play around with some cards, but to do so
Yeah.
you need to have all the decks, which you're either buying them or you're winning them, and then you need to try to put them together, and you have to have such an intimate knowledge of the rest of it that I don't have enough intimate knowledge to do the thing that I would find that is fun in the game, which would be to
Right.
try to put together my own little style and hash it out, have a good time. So just kind of petered out, and I was out of that. And so I started to get back into Rocket League actually, because I was
Oh
looking
yeah.
down the list, and it's like, I got this little segment of time to play something,
Yeah.
so I know this is like this is guaranteed. And at first, best part is it was kind of reluctant at first. Was like, fine, Rocket League, sure. As soon as I got into like the first match, it's like, yeah, Rocket League.
I'm winning.
Oh, I guarantee I wasn't winning. I just, but it's a car and a big soccer ball. And I'm just zipping around, so it was a blast. And yeah, so that was just fantastic. I was trying to find something on mobile that I could kind of dip into, and now like curiously, there was a Square Enix sale that came about.
Yeah,
Where,
they're sales.
now this one
Buy
was
it for
interesting. You pay
$20.
no, this one was you pay $9
Okay.
and you get a mystery box
What?
where you get give us $9. You don't find out what it is, but on this date we'll just send you a bunch of keys.
That's the best thing ever. That's amazing.
And I was staring at it, I'm just like, I don't know why. I felt like it, so I did it.
Oh, did
And
you?
yeah, the pack is pretty sweet. Unfortunately, like I own a bunch of them, but that's kind of nice because I can just pass them out, like to my brother and such. The games I have.
Yep.
So it had Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. It had Deus Ex Director's Cut.
Oh, that's a good one.
It had the Quantum Machine or something like that. It was a very cartoony, puzzly game that came around in the vein of Portal.
Okay.
That was pretty nice. It came out with it was like a 30% discount off of Just Cause 3, 20% off of Tomb
Oh,
Raider. And then the interesting one for me was it's Final Fantasy, oh geez, 13. Is 13 the last one with Lightning?
yes.
Yeah,
Well,
so
she's in everything. Yeah, they can take her everywhere.
yeah. So it was 13-2. So it was the sequel to that one.
Right.
And I generally enjoyed 13. Not my favorite one, but yeah, I played through it, played with Lightning and the crew, and enjoyed the thing. And now, speaking of Divinity Original Sin, and just as far as
Yeah,
the time
that's what I'm
sequence,
saying.
like
How are
man,
you going to do that?
a Final Fantasy X2 or X 13-2.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, it certainly looks good. Like I'd be kind of curious in it, and maybe much like you, just like poke it a little bit, like play it for like try to put in 5 hours and see if I'm in it.
Yeah.
But geez, yeah, I don't know.
Did you
It
ever
would be
play
the first
X2?
it'd be the first major huge RPG I'd getting into since I've had a kid, and I don't don't know if I'm ready. Like I don't.
I don't know. Was it any good? I don't even know what the reviews on it. I
Um,
didn't play 13. Like I was kind of taking a break from Final Fantasy after 12. And I
okay,
never got into 13.
I enjoyed it. It's not the best, but I thought it was great. It's certainly like pretty. I think the story got a little dumb at some
Yeah.
times, just like. But I tend to find Final Fantasies do that eventually.
Yeah.
Like they had the first premise, and then they complicate it a bit, and they complicate it a bit further. And at this point, it's interesting, and then you get towards the end, and it's complicate, and you're like, okay, now I don't know what I'm fighting the darkness. Okay, yeah, all right.
I'll roll with that. Okay. I mean, level 40. All right. I'm
I'll
there.
keep hitting him until he's dead. Sure, whatever you need, man. Uh, so we'll see. Anyway, that box ended up working pretty well. Like that's interesting. I could look into it.
That's a
Yeah, I
great
think
marketing technique. What a great. Here's $9 for a mystery box. I'm intrigued. I must.
go on.
Sure. Because you wouldn't spend like, let's say, like Sleeping Dogs. It's got to be what, $5 now or something. I don't know. It's pretty
Oh,
old,
it's
right?
less than
I
that. I think
don't
I
think
got.
you wouldn't drop $5 on it. You'd be like, eh.
I think I got it as part of a humble bundle, where it's like one
Oh, okay.
of like 6 games, and it's just like, yeah, that one looks pretty interesting. Like,
Yeah.
it looked pretty cool at the time, but I just I've had it forever.
Yeah.
I just I'm not bothered to look at it. The man, was been curious. Like, so I'll tell you the weirdest thought I've had. I'll be curious to see what you think about it. Where I've had the oddest urge for like the last week to get Street Fighter Five and try to become like
Yes.
try to become really good at it, like
Oh
really.
no, not me.
So I had you
Yes,
at the first
yes,
part.
yes, but no, not to get good. Because I've seen some clips of those dudes, and oh, like you're not talking championship. Well,
No,
maybe you are. I don't know. So
so
this is the
so
new
here's a thought
path.
that came in my head and totally out of left field. I've never had this impulse in my life. It was the
Okay,
question of, what if I could become like one of the top 100 players in either Canada or North America? Top 100.
totally do it. I think you should go for it.
Man,
Look,
because
another stream. Trevor's journey to the top 100
it's
of
like,
Street
welcome to
Fighter
year
5.
6, folks. I'm still ranked 20,000 in the world. No
There's only
progress.
101 people playing, Trevor. Where are you?
Because yeah, it's just I just worry that I've enjoyed I've never gotten really into those games. I've enjoyed them; they're fun, and I really
Yeah,
love the art style of Final Fantasy, of the new Street Fighter ones. Like, I love the direction they took with 4, and
yeah.
just gorgeous, like just stunning. And so there'd be parts I would certainly enjoy. I'm just worried that, like, to get to that level, I need to devoid it of all enjoyment. Like, I'm not gonna have fun anymore. Like, it's just gonna be, well, now I need
Well, it
to
might be
bring out the Excel
Hearthstone.
sheet and study.
Yeah, it might be Hearthstone, right? You might have like, well, why am I, I got to know the ins and outs. You got to know the animations down to like the millisecond of
Mm,
your combos, right? Like
yeah.
these guys that train this are like masters of their game. Like, so maybe not going to that level, but see if you can go online and kick some butt. I don't know.
Yeah. I think
Set a
one.
goal a
So I think
little
there's
lower.
two good parts I'd like as opposed to Hearthstone that I think would sit well with me. Namely, so Hearthstone, you have to have the cards, and I mean they just launched another expansion pack
Yeah.
where, if you're honest, you probably need to spend about $50 to get enough packs, to get enough cards to put together good stuff, and that's every
Oh,
time they do an expansion. You have to have these golden rares that you need to craft by like playing it enough. Like, so that there's just the card requirement, which takes a lot of time and theoretically a lot of money, right?
right.
And that's a problem for me. And then otherwise, it's actually just what they call RNG, like random number generator, where generally, like, if you get to in Hearthstone, if you get you're just going to get a lot of bad drops, and about 70, like, the best players will win like 60 to 70% of the time, and other times you're just going to get bad drops,
Oh, okay.
right? And I think, like, the top, like, you have to imagine the guys like in the top 1,000 consistently can kind of like move up. It's nothing about, I don't think there's a lot of luck in it, right? Like, if you're
Right.
good with this character, with Ryu, and you're able to just like crank it, like, you're just good with him.
Hmm.
Like, you have that, it's skill based
Yeah.
as opposed to so much luck. And of course, like, not to say Hearthstone certainly has skills. Like, the top
Yeah.
guys are always going to the tournaments, right? Like, there is a
Right.
list of like these 10 guys, and they're always there because they're the geniuses of it. But
Yeah.
even then, like, they have a 60 to 70% win ratio, and it just seems like, yeah.
I think you should do it. Totally do it. You need a gamepad though. You need one of the joysticks. That's
See,
the way to
I don't know
play.
about that, because I was watching a tournament, and one of the top guys in the U.S. uses a what do you call it,
Controller?
Xbox controller.
Really?
Yeah, no, so it doesn't. I'm sure, like,
Okay.
super elite, that would kill it for me. I could care less to have a special controller for that one,
Yeah.
but yeah.
You should do it. Okay, you're gonna do it, and you're gonna say like which character you're really good at, and you're gonna
Yeah.
have a goal. And we're gonna see you. We're gonna have like a little meter at the side, like where you are.
Yeah,
Like in
you know what I should do? I should, yeah, you know what I will do? That would be funny to watch. It might burn. It might absolutely crash and burn, but I will start it, and I will only play. Besides, like, some practice, like, I will generally only play ranked matches, and
Right.
just
Okay.
see
See
what
it.
happens. Like,
Just document your struggles.
yeah. So I'm gonna. So my plan will be I'll go through all the training missions. I will beat the game like this
Yeah,
like
yeah.
on
Get
the
some
AI.
practice.
Watch
Get
a
practice.
couple videos online, and then just
And jump in.
see what happens, and then
I'm
so starts my
excited.
professional career. You're excited.
I'm
It's just
excited.
week 2. It's like,
Twitch streamer.
yeah, that's
Yeah, no,
turns out I'm really
no,
bad at this.
no. We'll do it. You got to stream it. You got to watch. You have people live chat you and your
Just like
awesomeness.
nothing but taunts. I'm absolutely kidding.
This dad doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Get him off.
What a noob dad. More like
New
noob
dad.
dad. Am I right?
You're gonna totally do it. It's gonna be great.
Oh,
Wait, you're getting it on PC then, right? You got a
yeah.
PC? Yeah.
Which
So yeah.
it's exciting because it seems Xbox opened up the possibility this week for crossplay. Not sure
Yeah,
if,
I heard about that.
yeah. So and PlayStation said that they were warm to the idea. I think ultimately PlayStation's in the position of power. So really, if they decide to do it, then game on. Like Xbox
Yeah,
not having sold as well. But
right.
man, the thought that like finally like you and Rocket actually and in fact Rocket League of all games came out. The developers came out and said they figured it out. Like Rocket League,
Which,
no, were able to connect their, or at least prove that they can connect their Xbox games to the PS4 games. They just
which is
need,
awesome.
yeah, they just need like the cooperation of the two companies. So if PlayStation
Yeah.
decides to play ball,
Well,
so
that's exciting.
and then
All right,
theoretically, then
Rocket League
like
game.
what's that? Yeah, so you and
Let's
I can
go.
finally play Rocket League together. Although, see, man, it's been all gaming news and no baby news. But I do have a
Oh
baby question
well,
for you later. We'll get there. I will say the one thing that's bought like so I don't know. Did we talk about PlayStation VR last week?
no, but we should because I was so close to not. I had it in my cart. Anyway, sorry.
Wow,
I'll let you continue.
well, you had it in the online
I
shop.
wasn't
You were
gonna.
doing the pre-order.
I wasn't gonna do it, but it felt exciting that because I went. It was released in North America as a pre-order at 10 a.m. Right, and, on Amazon, and it was like I was like, I'll just look and see because I'm excited. I'm a gamer. Whatever. So I got online. Didn't happen. Like Amazon died. Like which I've never seen happen. It just didn't load the page. People are complaining that they didn't like release it in time, and other people like it was sold out before the page came up. Whatever. But no one thought of Walmart, and Walmart had bundles at like 6 o'clock at night. I was like, oh, it's so much money, and if I wasn't with two kids and I didn't have a life, I would totally. But I had it in my cart.
You're just
It's so
staring at that
much money.
screen,
There's no way. It's like
and
eight
there's just
hundred
this one
dollars.
like bead of sweat just like trickling down.
Yeah, I just had one, and then I'm thinking like, what if it's like an investment, and there's short supply, and I could sell it later? That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna put it on. I'll be like, this is cool.
Yeah,
It's
look at
totally
look at the shark. Neat.
yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna do that,
Man,
but no, I
I
had it
might
there.
I might do it honestly because just like
Yeah.
because I don't have there has never been a game I think and being completely honest and I've had enough time to think about it, so I know it's not necessarily a hype machine, but I don't know that I've ever been as excited for a game as I am with No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like it just seems so much like especially and then in many ways like I've whetted my appetite with Elite Dangerous as far as a space sim.
Right.
But just this game and where it's going, the development team, the cycle, everything about it, and the more depth of it. It feels like in some ways a more completely dangerous. Getting out of the ship,
Right.
like doing some collection crafting. Man, like it seems so exciting. I don't know if I've ever been more excited, and the thought that it is coming in PlayStation VR, and so what I'm imagining is it's like for $1,000 because I don't have a PlayStation or anything, so I'd be
Okay.
fresh
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
So for $1,000, it's like that game. It's the VR headset. It's like whatever crazy other controls and cameras you need
Controllers and
to
stuff.
do the thing. And like, oh man, now that I say that, now that I say the words out loud, like the
Yeah.
amount of
Right.
money, it's just like,
It's well, yeah. See, and that's like if you had a good PC, like a high-end PC, you could go
mm,
for Oculus or uh, is it Vive or whatever the HTC one is. But I've heard that that's again a PC environment where you have to be up on your drivers. Something could break. to
it's a thing. I've thought
Charlie.
of, like I'm very excited for VR. Like it seems like such a interesting gaming platform. Like I would like to participate in it. But with the game, especially with the
Yeah,
PC though, is just like I've had enough issues. I couldn't play Rocket League for 3 weeks, and I think I talked about this on a previous podcast.
right.
But because I had this game streaming service that was registering as a controller, so my actual controller was not going into Rocket League.
Right.
So every time I
Which is,
booted up Rocket League, it's like, hey, you got 2 players, and I'm like, what? Like it's just, and I
you're
couldn't
looking
figure out.
around your shoulder like,
Could not figure. I don't even remember how. I think the service crashed one day by random chance, and I happened to start it up, and it's just like, oh, that was that thing, son of a. And the thought that in that environment,
right.
that you're going to be able to have all of this stuff working just seamlessly and easily without issue, like day after day, is like, as opposed to PlayStation where it's like, you're going to come home, you're going to
Yeah.
unpack it, you're going to wait 2 days while it downloads the update driver, sure. And then you're going to, it's just going to work. And that's having owned, previous PlayStations and knowing Sony as a company. So,
Yeah.
yeah, if and then
I
ultimately like and it's more expensive anyways. Like the V
yeah.
the Vive and the Oculus are $600 to $800. I would need to spend probably $1,000 on my computer to upgrade it.
Right. Well, when I had that in my cart, when I had the VR,
So did I
let
convince you?
me
Are you gonna go buy it
go
right
back.
now?
No, no, no. I was, again, the bead of sweat came down, and I had this thought. I'm like, I was an early adopter of Virtual Boy, and that did
Wow! Whoa!
not.
Whoa! Whoa! You had
I
this
had a
just
Virtual Boy.
you owned and played a Virtual Boy.
Correct.
Wow!
And
I thought
like,
I knew you.
do
It's
you remember? Yeah, I know. Do you remember Blockbuster? Like the video game,
yeah.
the video game
Oh.
stores that we had in our day. Now we can say that. Like we used to rent video games. They had a Virtual Boy set up in their place, and I went there almost every week, like begging my parents to take me there. Oh yeah, and they whatever, they're gonna rent a movie anyway, right? But I would go over to this slimy, like well played with Virtual Boy headset. And you had to put it on over your forehead. I was a stupid kid, didn't know about germs. I would cringe right now as a dad saying that. But I love that thing, and I saved up all my allowances for like 8, 10 months. I can't remember how much. And I think got my brother to go in on it or something. I wheeled him on it, and it was awesome for like the 3 games that came out for it, because it was like Mario Tennis,
It
like
was
some plane thing,
yeah, it was like a ship.
Red Alarm or something, and then another Mario game, and that was it. Like it wasn't really well supported, and it hurt your neck, and it stopped every 15 minutes to say, hey, take a break, because it was all red. It was like a red and black
Oh
virtual
yeah, that's
reality
right.
thing. So you just look up and you see green everywhere, like everything, like this cannot be good
It's a kid
for
just like
a
spinning and like
child.
passing out.
So I don't know, PlayStation's like it has to be different, right? And they've said, like Sony said, like everybody has to work together in the VR field to get this mainstream, because if they don't, it's going to go like the way of the Vita or the Move controllers. Like none of that was supported after they launched, and now all of a sudden those Move controllers have spiked in price because you need it for the VR,
Yeah.
which you could find any of those in like a bin at EB Games or something. But I just don't know. But it looks exciting. And the cinematic mode where you can watch a movie like up
Yeah.
close is
See, it just
amazing.
feels like at least there's still going to be, you can just start to see some silly applications for it. Because I'll say one thing. One thing that I've really enjoyed is my NVIDIA Shield, which is it's a
Yeah.
portable one, and it streams games from my PC. And what's good about it is that like I'm at night, I can be in bed with my wife, and she's on her phone, but we're still able to kind of talk. Like gaming isn't this.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna finish my thought, although I've already discredited it. It isn't this. I'm
Keep
able
going.
to participate in that game, and I'm still be somewhat present with her.
Yes.
So it's God.
So no,
This
let's picture the same scene with a VR headset.
yeah,
So your
just
VR headset, like, what, baby? What, honey?
I didn't when I started speaking those words, I hadn't really thought out my arguments so well. And what I've described is thoroughly ridiculous. Where
Yeah.
the two of us are sitting in bed, and I got this fucking VR headset just like strolling around. What's that, darling? Just,
Well,
sorry,
she could go to sleep, right? You know, turn out the lights, whatever. You're in your own little like concealed world here. Just
until like I punch her by accident with like a VR, like a move control. Oh, sorry, baby. There's a shark. Go back to
playing a
sleep.
scary game or
Yeah,
something.
that is the. Oh,
That
that
was
is
what that
thoroughly
was an
ridiculous. That is embarrassing, dude. That I tried to defend that as a thought.
man. You
Jeez.
were like set up ready to buy this thing, and maybe not. Maybe that's not gonna.
Yeah.
Again,
Well,
I don't.
it's definitely not going to work like that. I'm still just. I mean, worst like theoretically, I could just get obviously No Man's Sky on PC for
Yeah,
the 50, $60 it would cost, and then let the industry kind of sort itself.
right. See where it goes.
But yeah,
It
I don't.
needs
It's
that.
it's it's certainly exciting. It's just
I think it needs like a killer app, right? Like I remember, well, even with Virtual Boy, like that was the first taste of VR as a consumer, like, and it wasn't even virtual reality. Like it had depths of field, right? So it had like the tennis. Why they chose tennis, I don't know, but that was their thing that they marketed on, right? I don't know what Sony is exactly. I don't know what their launch title would be. Like they have like the Move games that kind of are like the Wii games. Like it comes with like I don't know 20 different mini game type things, but
yeah. No,
they
seeing
need
so
like
their VR world, it looks pretty interesting, if
yeah.
not great. I've seen. Man, I'm trying to think.
There's that battle
The
one. Like there's like battle bots in an arena. I think it's made
Yeah,
by the
I don't know if
Killer
that's a launch
Instinct.
title though.
Or no,
Like
it
it.
might not be.
So I know that No Man's Sky will
Yeah,
have that support whenever like the two things launch like simultaneously. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think because I had watched a big video list of VR games, and I'm trying to remember if it was for PlayStation, like VR, PSVR, or if it was just like Oculus or something else. I could swear it was PSVR. Like it had a big list. There was like 20 launch titles. Like it seemed like they had really like landed up, like put together some good ones. Yeah, no, it was. I swear it was. Like there was a demo where the reviewer was talking about what's great about it is that there's indie titles. Like there's this one where it's you're in this world and there's these little pink bunnies that are running across. It's a little bit like Lemmings, basically. But it's a smaller game by from a smaller studio, and it was kind of interesting because they're launching for VR. And then there's obviously the big titles, probably most notably the Eve Valkyrie.
yes, that one looks cool.
That looks pretty sweet. So it,
Like it, I'm trying to think. Like again, I would have. They say they're trying to review it, but like you need to be there and actually experience it, which I think is what benefited the Virtual Boy having those demo models set up, right? So you need to actually experience it, and I don't think like I'm even trying to think like I'm really looking forward to Uncharted, right? So how would like a shooter like that work? Like, are you on rails or is it some sort of like limited movement? Like I can't see you walking, but maybe that's the controller that pushes you forward. But is that weird that you're
I think on some of the controllers I've seen, it's like you still get the joysticks
right? Yeah, yeah.
on
So you're
them,
moving forward, but
but
is
then
that
but
weird?
there's other
'Cause
buttons too. So like it's so this is controlling your movement, and then like, but I know
yeah,
for the Vive, for instance, I know it's all about the space. So like you're actually moving and dodging. Although that has no appeal to me. I could care less to
no,
like jump
no.
around.
You can have your kid next to you, and you're like, "Whoops,
Yeah,
sorry."
yeah. I guess in a lot of ways it's wait and see. I tend to be a little bit bullish on it. Like I'm excited about it and everything they're putting together. It seems like if in many tiny ways, if nothing else, if it ended up being some of the demo titles which look fun enough, but ultimately that No Man's Sky in that
Yeah,
VR situation like that, if not all else fails, it's like well, this certainly did not pan out financially, but at least this experience is amazing, which I
yeah,
could half imagine.
yeah. No, I think it would be like if it really gets mass appeal and a lot of people start developing for it and you know EA gets into it and the Battlefront, they said there would be a Battlefront experience
Oh,
but
yeah.
in VR. So if that's a snow speeder on Hoth, that's amazing.
I
And
think it
I'm
was. I
so,
think
like
no. I think it was the whole thing. I could swear they. Did you say? Are you sure it's experience, or I thought it was they were
I
bringing.
I don't know if they committed to the full game or if they just said experience, meaning like maybe it's a limited version in some capacity because I don't know how they're going to transfer this first-person shooter without people puking in a virtual reality. Like again, I don't know. I'd have to.
I'm just waiting
Sony,
for
please send us some
I'm just
demo
waiting
kits.
for so you end up buying it, and I'm just waiting for you to try to strap it onto your kid's head, and just like
That's right. I should do a stream with it on. Like, just get it, and we'll both stream this with these virtual reality things on. But I don't know. I think it needs a little time in the cooker to see what people think of it, what issues there are, and
it seems like.
but I'm
I mean,
excited.
with the kid thing though, like so with the Xbox and PlayStation, all these other ones, like there's a fair number of kid-friendly applications. Basically, kid games they can play,
Yeah.
movies that they can watch, Netflix and everything else. This VR stuff really does not seem too capable for kids. Like I can't imagine like anyone more younger than like a 14-year-old like strapping this thing on. So this would be
Yeah.
certainly a game. Like if you buy a PS4, you have some fallbacks. This thing plays movies like DVDs
Right.
and Blu-rays. It plays Netflix. There's a couple really easy games a kid can play. So like you
Yeah.
can quasi pitch it as a family unit. This virtual reality thing, there's no way you're strapping the thing onto your kid. So it's like
No.
this is really an adult. Like this is you. This is for daddy.
This is my toy. No, and I think they've come out and said that anybody below 12, it's not recommended.
Yeah, that's
Like
recommended.
even the 3DS, right? The 3D is not recommended for anybody below 7 because it can, I guess their ocular vision or perception of the world isn't fully developed yet. So I turned the 3D off, which is that's easy enough to do, right? So I think it might be the same thing with virtual reality where it just might not, it might be too intense for,
Yeah.
they've said kids under 12. So it's
Yeah.
daddy's
So it's
toy
just
at that point.
so again, just says like putting your dad hat on. It's just kind of hard to validate. So, geez, I'll give you one more. Speaking of dad validation, I've had this.
Yeah.
So our family car, or it's just a Mazda 3. It's working fine. It's an older car, but I think it's like a 2005. But it does great.
Oh,
It's getting up there,
classic.
but like it's still doing. I own it. Like we've owned it for a number of years. Just
Yeah.
like outright, we had bought it from the dealership. Doing great. No problems with it, right? But it's getting to the point where I so badly want to replace it, but there's just not a lot of incentive for me to do it. Like I think we're trying to like plan out our next couple of years, and it's just like I think not sure I'd like to buy a new car. I think I'd prefer to get onto a lease cycle, but at the moment I'm not comfortable getting onto a 3 to 5 year lease cycle, just like with everything at the moment. So I'm just sitting here in this odd point. And so I got this car, don't really need to upgrade it or trade it or anything else, but because it's doing fine. But it's at the same time like, geez, it's getting long in the tooth. I'd like to do something. So this idea pops in my head, much much like much like becoming a champion Street Fighter, Street Fighter 5 champion. If there's been one car like a very low barrier to entry dream car of mine has been a somewhere between a 1985 to 1995 BMW.
Right.
So this is like when they're stocky and they're very square
Yeah.
and they almost look like NASCARs.
Yeah.
And
You buy a BMW. Is that what
no,
you're saying? Okay.
I'm convincing myself. I'm battling with myself to do it. Let me give me the two sides, and then you can Jeff, the
All right.
father of two, can give me his wisdom.
Okay.
So this is the. Let's start with the cons. I think I'm going to end on a positive note.
All right.
It is risky, right? Because like these things are going to be old, and who knows if it's going to break down, right? Current car is working fine. This thing is not necessary.
Right.
There should be more cons than this. I'm not doing a good job with the cons. There's plenty more cons, and I'm blanking because I'm so excited about the pros. It's a potential money pit. Like I buy this thing, it just falls apart, and now what seemed like a relatively good deal is just throwing money away that I need to use for my family otherwise, right?
Yeah.
In some ways, there's part of me that thinks that a BMW at the time would be slightly safer than a base model Mazda. But ultimately, like that's like a 10, 15-year gap in auto innovation. So you'd have to imagine there's like the airbags are probably better in the Mazda,
Or
right? So
worse.
there's a safety situation, right? So
Yeah.
there's all those cons.
Right.
So the pros is like
Okay.
this
So we got
is
safety issues. Okay. So safety is a con. Okay. Continue.
I don't know. I can't speak with authority that it is.
Yeah.
There's still
Fair enough.
some part of me that feels like a German. Like these things are all at the time were certainly all built in Germany.
Yes.
German manufacturing in the 1990s. Its safety and reliability versus the absolute base model of a Mazda in
Yeah.
2005. Like that. That's why I'm hesitant to say like it's the type of thing like I would feel probably more safe in a Saab from 1985 than I would in a current like Hyundai. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because
No,
it's
I
just
see.
there's something about how they did it. Maybe it
Made it
may,
with more metal that's like cuts through other metal. Like,
okay. So we're gonna call that like the ambiguous column. So we had the con
okay.
column. We got the
Yes.
ambiguous safety could
Right.
be a situation, and
Pros.
the pros is like this is the only time I'm gonna be able to do this
You get
because
matching jacket.
what's
You get
that?
like a leather jacket with a BMW
Oh jeez.
emblazoned on the back. No?
Yes.
No?
I think it comes standard. Like I think there's a compartment in the
Right.
back that has
Yeah.
jackets.
Jacket,
Uh,
yeah.
it's the only time I can. It's probably one of the only times I can do it. Like if we do decide to have another kid, if um, any number of other things happen, like this would be actually a pretty opportune time to do it. I could. It's going to be relatively low cost to get into it because these cars, in my mind, any of the cars that stay in really good condition, they're going to start going up in value as collector items. Some of these cars actually go like in these years are already really sought after because they're a lot of fun to drive. So you get one that's like really souped up and it's souped up naturally, not like just lowered and painted green. So
Right.
souped up naturally, like it's because they're well renowned for being amazing to drive. So anything that stays really well maintained is in future would go up. That's not to say I'm not going to make money on this. It's not like this will
Yeah.
get value. No, it's not. It's going to go downhill, certainly.
Yeah.
But it's at this moment you can get these things for pretty cheap, right? Especially ones that have been well maintained.
Yeah.
And then after I sell the Mazda, like it would be comparable. It's the dream car that I've always wanted to drive, and given the family situation, we could get away with it. Like I can
Right.
do it. It's
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
It's gonna be. I'm doing a lot of highway driving up to my parents' cottage. The Mazda is terrible at it. It is a cacophony of sound because you feel every bump because it's a base car, right? It's
Yeah.
wonderful. It works great, but it's just I'm on that highway for an hour and a half going to my folks, and it's just loud, awful noises and bumpy. Whereas this would be smooth and nice. So my main driving exercise would be vastly improved.
Yes. Okay. Sanity. We got
So yeah,
pros.
opportunity,
Yes.
possibility, living out the dream, and
Okay.
sanity.
Okay.
There it is. There's the entire thing. So wise man
Perfect.
Jeff of two kids, and however
I
many
am
more
gonna.
years. I think we're the same
I
age.
Yeah. I think so. But well beyond your years in terms of
Yeah,
like I will deliver
clearly
my
much
wise
wiser.
words to you.
Never
Um.
have you uttered, "I want to now get a beat up Beamer" or "I want to become a Street Fighter champion." So clearly, you've been
No.
shown to be the wise one.
But I will say congratulations to you on your midlife crisis.
Son of a
And
bitch! How dare you, sir?
you
How
made
dare
it.
you? I
Made
said
it.
that.
You actually like 7 years early or whatever, so you're close. No, but this is okay. I understand your situation. And I will say it might seem like a midlife crisis because you're getting like your dream car that you've always, you wanted since you were a teenager and now you can do it, which having two kids and the money that you spend on them. And I've been looking at what people deem, or what I even called my dad, because my dad got like this red race car when he was 42. It was like standard, so no one else could drive it. Like it was his car. Like, like he got it. My mom couldn't touch it. Like we couldn't even get like in it. Like low back seat. Anyway, it was his car. So again, midlife crisis or like your dream car, and this is the opportunity to buy it. I've kind of come to see the light to say, no, like after the kids have gone through daycare and you kind of get that money back, or they're going out of the house or whatever, it's opportunity to finally buy what you want. Because if you grow up as a teenager, like you're working for college, and then through college you're working to get out of college, and then you finally get a job out of college, you're working to pay off college debt, And then now you finally have money to afford what you wanted 20 years ago. And there's where the midlife crisis comes in. But I think it's just time where you can finally afford what you've always dreamt of as a kid. Which again, yours is low cost entry, so if it breaks down, whatever, you can just trade it for a PSVR and be done with it. I don't know.
Probably not. The PSVRs, man, you see some of them, they're worth like. And looking at them, it's funny because I've actually, in searching, like I've set a minimum for the cost.
Yeah.
Like of at least like if they're not charging at least $3,000, like I don't
It's
want
not
to deal
worth
with it because it's just like something is really messed up.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a deal of the century, but I'm not like bothering.
Or they transported dead bodies in it or something.
Like there was this one. So hold on before I get into this. So was that approval of the idea or was that like
Again, I think it's kind of a like let's report back and just see how that goes over.
So I took my beat up Beamer to pick up my PlayStation VR and fight stick from my local Street Fighter Championship, and the car blew up.
I can't. No, I just want to see video like you on film doing donuts in the parking lot with a kid in the back seat, in the car seat, just screaming outside the window.
So
like, yeah, go Dad!
Yeah. So I'll say like there's been some. I don't want to kind of call it a concession. So like the one that I actually like the absolute dream car is like the E3 E30 M5 model, which it's 2 doors, it's a coupe, like it. No, there's no way. With a kid, I'm not doing a 2-door, right?
Right.
So there's these other versions that are a bit more like the one up, and the one like the one that I was looking at. There's this old couple selling them. They only ever drove them in Florida. They were bought and just drove in Florida, for its entire life cycle. Maintenance at the BMW dealership, which they have records for every year. All the oil, all this stuff. So it's just like this old man babied this BMW for the better part of however many. He bought it in 1997, so that's 20 years?
Almost 20 years. Almost 20
let's
years.
say 20 years.
Yeah.
Babied it. And the thing, no rust, no A1 maintenance. The guy was willing. He's like, you take this to any mechanic you want. Like, I don't care. That's how good it is.
Wow.
And all in the thing costs, I think it's like $4,500. And it says, and here's the other part about it. So my Mazda has 180,000 kilometers in it, right?
Yeah.
It's it's working great. It could probably go longer. I feel embarrassed because I did not take care of this car as well as I should have.
Okay.
It's a life lesson for me. I'm going to say around it because like I should have taken if I'd
take care of your stuff. Kids.
Yeah, if I'd rust proofed it, if I had washed it more often, it wouldn't be where it is. But that's the follies of youth. So the Mazda as well is just at any point I think could also just blow a transmission. It kind of feels like I'm just rolling the dice. So it's like I either drive around. Oh, and that one, sorry, the BMW I was looking at, 260,000 kilometers.
Whoa,
it's up there. But for me, it kind of funny thing is I think this is probably just me trying to convince myself. But for me, cars, it feels like at the 200,000 mark. Like at 100,000 and at 200,000, a lot of stuff starts to just go down, right?
Yes.
But if you weather that and you fix a bunch of things, like then it can keep going, and then that's when you hear the car going for 400,000.
So, or like things are so broken they just fuse together and they won't break.
Exactly. It's like this thing should be dead, but it just won't die.
Yeah. Well, no, kilometers doesn't always mean like, especially if it's Florida and the guy's driving the highway, like I don't know, up to New York and back. Who knows? It's all highway driving.
So as I said, like I had thoroughly convinced myself like not to get a new car or buy another used car because this one was fine. I was doing great. But I looked at it from this like there's this opportunity, and the price is low enough that like to roll the dice to live a bit of a dream that I've always had for a item that I have to deal with all the time. Like on a snowy day, I have to drive my son to daycare. And I have to get into that car, and it's just like, you're reminded of that every day. So it's like there's this opportunity to have these everyday little joys of it, where it feels like, maybe roll the dice and see how that happens. But
well, it's a low cost of entry, like you said, right? And let's say things don't work out, you just put it back up on the market, and you maybe get $1,000 less. I don't know, like. Yeah. Again, it's like the price of a PSVR. I don't know.
I could buy 4 PSVRs for this if it doesn't work out.
No.
Yeah.
We should
So
let our audience decide if you should get it. We should have a poll, and then you should just do what they say. I might
whatever.
be the vote.
It's like, okay, well, it's turns out I have to get a golf cart and drive that around for the next like for
We
two
need
years.
to then rename the channel because it's BMW Dads. Oh,
Oh,
just one dad. Sorry.
just one. Gee. So the yeah, that's a lot of man. That's gonna be a lot of reporting next week as far as
Yeah, no, yeah. Again, I'm excited. Your Street Fighter career, video games, not actual street fighting,
yeah,
and your BMW.
driving
Event,
up in my BMW.
my game reporting back.
Yeah, if you stuck with Divinity
Yep, yep.
and how your potty training's gone over the weekend,
Yes, and the potty training.
I'm gonna be
These-
so surprised if that coach behind you's still there next week. Like that's
I
that is such bravery.
see. Where do we get? Okay, so I'm doing poop training, and you're getting a BMW. I'm just saying that our lives are very different right now.
Yeah.
And you think you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? You're getting a new car.
We'll see. We'll see. Oh man, the
Report back
yeah. Well,
after
yeah,
you
we're
buy
gonna have
it.
to go through poop chat. What age? Sorry, how old?
He's almost 3. We
Almost.
waited a little bit. I think our eldest was almost, well, he was 2.5.
Yeah,
'Cause,
so that makes you feel better. I got like another like 1 to 2 years of poop left in front of
Yeah,
me, and you're
yeah.
almost done. You're almost
Yes.
out. You're just about to live the dream. So like, I'll trade you.
Oh
I'll
my
trade you a
God.
ride in my BMW for no more poop. That's,
Yeah. Maybe if I can borrow it on weekends or something.
there you
I'll
go.
I'll be the cool dad on
It's gonna be a
weekends.
family man. The baby seat's going in the back. It's gonna be a family car.
Is it leather? It's leather, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that
Oh,
it,
yeah, of course.
funny thing is, like, I saw some that weren't leather. I'm like, no. Like, if I'm
No,
gonna
it's not.
bother, if I'm gonna
Let's
bother
go.
doing this,
Sunroof? It's got a sunroof, doesn't it?
yeah, it's
Oh, yeah, of course it
the
does.
thing's cool. It's really nice. Like power windows. Like I don't have power windows.
You should, yeah, sorry. You don't have power windows right now?
Nope.
You know, okay, quick
Just a
little
second.
story.
Let me just order this coffee real quick.
Quick, yeah, quick.
This almost squeak,
Quick.
squeak, squeak, squeak,
I'm-
squeak, squeak, squeak.
This is because I had an old Mazda Protege that was horrible condition 2002. I sold that 3 years. Well, I didn't sell it. 2 years ago, it went to the dump.
Wow.
But the point of where we were saying, okay, this car's had enough is when my son was in the back seat. And he said, "Dad, what are these for?" And he was pointing to the manual, the manual window control. I'm like, "That's to undo the windows because I don't have that in this car." And he's like, "Why don't you just press the button like everybody else in his class?" And I'm like, "Okay, listen, does your dad have a BMW? Because I don't."
Yeah, is your your dad's got a beard. Your dad's got a BMW.
Yeah, see,
He's a Street Fighter champion. Like
yeah, it all begins now.
yeah. It is the beginning of a great life. Yeah, we'll report back on all man next. I am on the
We
edge of
need
my
a
seat.
checklist. We'll have a checklist and we'll just flash it on screen like ant fail.
Yeah,
Jeff did not pass potty training.
yeah. Trevor's BMW blew up. Fail.
Yeah.
Trevor is not a champion at Street Fighter.
Right.
Man, I'm
I'm
not even
excited.
that good at fighting games. Like I've never played them a lot.
We're living your dreams right now. So you're gonna get your car and live out your dreams as an e-gamer.
Quarter life crisis. It's all coming in. With that with that stirring good note, I think we'll end it off for the week. Everybody, thank you for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to reach out to us with questions, ideas, or show notes, please visit our website at newdadgaming.com or subscribe to us on any of the good podcasting services. We do this show weekly. And as always, my name is Trevor. I have a fight stick, a dream, and a BMW, and a 9-month-old.
My name's Jeff. We're trying to get through potty training. I have that poop dream, and I've got a 5-year-old and an almost 3-year-old. That's hopefully potty trained.
Man, I'm not editing that out. We got a poop tree. That's the title of the show. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.
See ya.